Thon. All right, Shalom. This is your brother Thon. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rekah Kwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Today, we're going to talk about trusting in the husband and the importance of it. Now, for those of you brothers who've had a woman, it's no worse feeling than your woman displaying that she has no belief in you. That she doesn't trust you. That she doesn't, feel protected by you. You know what I mean? And when you lack faith in the Lord, and when you move in a way to where you're always doubting and second guessing and you're in a what if spirit, that's basically what you're saying to the Lord, man. I don't feel protected by you. Okay, so when we ask of things to the Lord, when we ask for, more understanding, or, we're getting through a rough patch, you inquire of the Lord for a way to escape, which he always is going to provide if you ask in sincerity and in truth and you're walking uprightly. You don't want to be in a what if spirit after you ask. This is James 1:6. Actually, let's start it. We'll just start at the top, man. James 1:1. It says what? James, a servant of God and of the Lord, Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting the diaspora. So you also can go to James 1:1, man, when you want to break down the New Testament, that the new covenant, both covenants, like it says in Romans 9:4, pertain unto the nation of Israel. Now, oftentimes when the New Testament references, Greeks receiving salvation or understanding, it's because there were Israelites that were keeping the customs of these people in other lands. When you go to John 7:35, it actually even makes that plain. And let's get it really quick. I'll get it in the NLT because it makes it blatantly apparent what's going on here. All right, this is John 7:35, and bear with me. Sometimes you mention something, you got to go into it. But the point of this lesson is still to not be in a doubting spirit. And if you have been moving that way, pray from the Lord to take that spirit away from you. When those thoughts start to creep in, pray it away, man. This is John 7:35 here. Let's get it in the NLT. Then the Jews said among themselves, where does he intend to go that we shall not find him? I'm talking about Yahushua. Does he intend, this is the disciples talking about Yahushua. Does he intend to go into the dispersion among the Greeks and teach the Greeks? Let's look up that word. In the KJV, it's diaspora. Disperse, Salakia. And the word in the Greek is diaspora. All right.
Strong's G1290. Diaspora. Diaspora.
All right, and it's a scattering or dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. So that's what the mystery of the Gentiles in the scriptures is. You have Gentiles in the sense of heathen nations, people who are outside of the promise. But you have Gentiles in the regard of Israelite foreigners who were scattered abroad. You see? Now let's go back to James 1, and we can pick up where we left off here. James 1:1, it reads, James, a servant of God and of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greetings. So there you go. There's a connection. Verse 2, my brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations. And we all are going to, fall into different trials and adversities. It's a part of our walk. It's a rite of passage. Back in ancient times, for a boy to become a man, they had things that were a path that he would have to walk, or particular tests that he would have to pass to show his transition into manhood. And for us, the Lord does the same thing. He puts particular trials upon us, to where we have to move and judge in a particular way. We have to perceive things a particular way. Okay? And us receiving temptation in our walk, or trials in our walk, is a part of our rite of passage. When you go to Sirach 2:1, what does the Lord tell you? My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. I'm interested to see what it says in let me get my G&T out of my bag here. I'm interested to see what it says there. All right, so this is Sirach 2:1 in the G&T, Good News Translation. And I like the G&T just for the sake of when you got to go to the Apocrypha and you want a translation that's closer to the English that we speak today. But of course, the KJV is chief, because these other translations, man, if you're somebody new and you don't fully understand the scriptures, they can be misleading. There's some things in there that could trip you up. All right. But, for those who understand, a prime example, the mystery of the Gentiles fully, and they can go back and forth in the Old and New Testament and say, hey, this is what it is. And you don't get tripped up. You can see when these other versions are going off. Sirach 2:1 in the G&T, it says, my child, if you are going to serve the Lord, be prepared for times when you will be put to the test. Be sincere and determined. Keep calm when troubles come. Hey, that's beautiful. All right. So that's the mentality that we're supposed to have when we go through tests. The Lord is only putting us through it to build us. You shouldn't look at it as always as, I'm getting judged. And sometimes you may be getting judged, but at the end of the day, if you are, still for your benefit. If you lean on the Lord and you pray to him and you trust on him in the midst of, you being afflicted, the Lord will take that affliction that you went through and use it as fuel to make you better. And you always have to understand that. The Lord's not going to put you through something that you can't bear. You always have to have faith and trust in him that he knows what he's doing. When you fully put your life in his hands. All right, so this will go back to James 1 and verse 2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience, and all our faiths are going to be put on trial in the times to come. And that's the only way, sincerely, that you can please the Lord. Because faith is what drives everything. You believe, so what? You try your best to your ability to rehearse the righteous acts. That's why the question is posed in this, that Yahushua poses the question of, will he find faith when he return upon the earth, man? I'm paraphrasing. Let me just go read it. This is Luke 18:8. It says, it's written in red, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? That's what he's going to be looking for, man, faith. Okay, verse 3. Knowing that this is James 1 and 3. Salakia, guys. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. Let's read that verse 4 in the NLT. It says, but let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect, come to complete, lacking nothing. Now let's look up the word patience and see if there's any nuggets there for us to understand this on a more intimate level. So we look up the word patience here in James 1 and 4.
Strong's G 5281. Hupamane.
And it says steadfastness, constancy, endurance. So you have to endure in this walk. And then the definition under that says, in the New Testament, the characteristics of a man who is not swerved from his deliberate purpose and his loyalty to faith and piety by even the greatest trials and sufferings. So in the midst of our trials and sufferings, our whole goal and focus is to maintain the conduct that the Lord has bestowed upon us. Maintain the mentality, the mindset that the Lord told us to have. A perfect example, the prime example that we have is Job. Let's go to Job, the 2nd chapter here. All right. Job 2:10, when he was being tested, Satan jumped on his wife to urge him to deviate from the conduct that we were given. Okay, this is Job 2, and I'll start at verse 7. It says, So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord. And this is a great chapter to show you that, hey, in the church, in the Baptist church or any church, they say that ain't nothing but the devil. The devil doesn't do anything without the Lord's permission. The spiritual entity Satan doesn't do anything without the Lord's permission first. He works for the Most High. So by proxy, even the so-called white man doesn't do anything without the Most High's okay. The Lord controls both sides. He creates good and he creates evil, like the scriptures say. So even when this devil tries to roll on us, we have the supreme confidence that we don't have to be in fear of this man, because we know that he can't do anything unless the Lord allows it. So, there's a tidbit for those who are new. But this is Job 2:7. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife unto him, Dost thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God and die. Deviate from your conduct. Forget the faith. Forget faith. Look at what you're going through. Right? But this was Job's response, and the same response that we should have when we go through the trials, go through that rite of passage that we talk about, right? But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips. And that's the understanding that we got to have, man. The Lord's going to bless us, and he's going to test us. It's just a part of it. But regardless of what season you're in, whether you're in the season of blessing or whether you're in the season of testing, your conduct is supposed to remain the same. And that's what it's talking about in Philippians, the 4th chapter. The world, they like to go read Philippians 4:13, but they don't read up the couple verses where it talks about you having the proper conduct to be abased and abound, whether you're being brought low or lifted up. Your conduct, your perspective, and your heart towards the Most High should remain the same. And I can attest to it, man. The Lord has tested me, and he's blessed me. And every day, my faith, and I pray it continues to get built up. I'm seeing more clearly, even me being this thing almost 10, I'm seeing more clearly what it's all about, what we are to focus on. All right, so Lord willing, that lesson was edifying. It was just something quick I wanted to put together for you all. It was on me to speak on that, or just to make that point. Lord willing, it was precise and simple and easy to understand, and edifying. So with that, I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. I want to give double honors to apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right? May the blessing of election be upon you.